Hello everyone, welcome to Ritaricraft, or the first episode of Ritaricraft. I'm Whip Ritari. Hope you guys liked that animation in the beginning there. I'm really trying out some new things, and hopefully it tells the story of the builds that we're going to be doing this season, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Fair warning, this first episode might be a bit over the place. I don't think it's going to be too bad, but when it first started, I didn't really have a good idea of how I wanted the structure of these episodes to go. And then I sort of got the idea for the animations and the story behind everything I want to do this season. So we're like in the transition phase of early to mid game. So I figured I'd give you guys a tour first and then kind of explain what's going on story-wise with that beginning animation and the build we're going to be doing today. So this is a multiplayer server, so there's a couple other people who play on here, but this is our area of the map. This over here is where I thought I was going to do the first build, but like I said, I kind of didn't really know how I wanted to structure everything, and now I do, so that'll come into play in a later episode. We did get a beacon. I do have some footage of some of the things, or the processes behind us making or getting some of the resources around here. I might put some of those clips in, I might not. Really just depends. We got a villager breeder over here, we got some villager trades going on, a small super smelter, that's a moss farm. We've got an iron farm over here that has been overflowing for a little bit now. This is a pumpkin melon farm for getting emeralds from some of those villagers. This is our XP and slime farm. And then this is the start of a bee farm. And I think that's all the farms we have going on right now. There's quite a few we're going to need to make as we sort of progress through this project, but that's what we've got going on currently. This is where we've been living. It's a complete disaster, but that should get fixed by next episode. And then we've been sleeping down there. I locked a map of the area before we really started doing too much. We did get the iron farm in there, but this will be a nice before and after. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You haven't missed much. All right, so explaining that animation at the start. So the theme that I'm going with for this season, I guess you can call it, is kind of like Dark Universe, Monster Village type things going on. So the main story we're working with is we're just a traveler who got awoken by some weird dreams and getting chased by wolves, and for some reason they stopped once we crossed that bridge. I'm sure that's a good sign. But what we don't know yet is that the reason those wolves stopped is because once you cross that bridge, you can't leave. Once you cross the bridge, you're officially in the village, and the village is cursed, and you can never get out. And that curse is going to be thanks to the Lord of the land, who I don't have a name for yet, but he's the one who cursed it, and he's going to live in a mansion, manor, castle thing that's going to go up there. And of course, that's where we come in, so we're going to eventually stumble upon the build that we're going to be making today in this episode, called the Grimwood Lodge. And that lodge is going to be the home, or it was the home, to a group of monster hunters, some locally from the village and some from faraway lands, who would come, or who had came together to try to take out the Lord and free the village of the curse. But unfortunately, they failed, and that's where we come in. We're going to stumble across that lodge, learn a bit about the past and history of this place, explore the town itself, and eventually take up the mantle to try to get rid of the Lord and free the village of the curse. At least that's the main premise we're dealing with. There's a lot of intricate lore pieces that are going to be going into it, which will be told through different objects and different builds that are going in here. but obviously we have to make all of it, so that's going to be the fun part. And like I said, the first thing we're going to be building is that Grimwood Lodge, so we need to go get some materials and clear the place it's going to be. And once all that's done, we'll start building. Well, that took a lot longer than expected, but it's basically done. There's a lot of finer details that we can go through and do here, and we need to do this texture all around the building. Right now it's kind of only on the front, but it's looking good. We definitely have to do some interior decorating in here. We did a little bit, but there's a lot more we need to do. We need candles. For that, we're going to need to finish the bee farm and probably get a string farm going. I also need a wool farm. I'd like to get a pork chop farm going. So those are probably going to be what we focus on next episode. The upstairs really is more just for a mirage or forced perspective sort of thing going on here. So we're not really too concerned about this bit, at least not yet. Maybe we'll go back and actually finish it. But that's the bedroom. This will be our storage area. And it feels great to actually have a real starter base, not just a hole in the side of a mountain. So I went ahead and did some more interior decorating, and you can really feel the difference it makes in the place feeling alive. We got some arrows in a barrel over here, old hunter's sword that's starting to rust, some stuff up there, some paintings, food on the table, banner. We got that furnace in place, the brewing stand. The paintings do a lot of heavy lifting, I feel. And yeah, it just really makes a difference. I even put a little wood chopping station out there. So yeah, next episode we're going to be doing some of those farms I mentioned. We might spend some time doing the interior decorating, or I might do most of that off of camera. We'll see. There's also a lot of terraforming we can do outside, just to make it look more lived in or lived around, so to speak. But yeah, so this is Grimwood Lodge. If I go into free cam so we can see around a little bit. From that intro animation, this is where the bridge was that we crossed, which I do actually have to make the bridge, so maybe we'll do that next episode as well. But we are right on trajectory to stumble upon the lodge, and then from there, the rest of the village. And we've got some big builds planned, two of which are done basically. I've got the plans for it, we just have to actually make it. Obviously one going there, and then another one there. We still need to figure out the manor and the rest of the town. There's a lot to do, guys. But yeah, not going to have an animation at the start of every video. I do want to say that because the animations only really make sense, right, to show those story beats or the story progressing. And if we haven't built out the next step, then it doesn't make sense to do some sort of animation at the start. I don't think. Maybe I'll think of some filler stuff. I don't really know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But next episode might have an animation since we do have most of the lodge done, so we can at least progress with us coming across it and maybe learning some things. And like I said at the start, this is a multiplayer server, so not every episode is going to be about building. Not every episode's going to have those animations. We will be interacting with some of the other people on the server from time to time, and stuff like that. Don't remember if I said at the start, I do have a mini game planned that it's completely redstone that I want to make for the server for everyone to play and interact with. And I do want another game for this town when it gets closer to being complete, but I haven't really thought of that yet. But yeah, sorry if this episode was a bit over the place. Had some technical difficulties recording the intro and the outro the first like 3 or 4 times, so gotta get those reshot, and then finally figured out the structure I think I want to go for. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.